school song, I believe that they did momentarily. It was just after the Star Spangled Banner. Well, we don't do that anymore in high school athletics. That's good to see.
Yep.
So the Railroaders and the Raiders. Boy, I'll tell you, we're going to be loaded with Irish tonight, Brian. It's going to be kind of tricky. All right, here's your opening, your starting lineup for the Raiders. Number 12, Jake Conway. Jake Eaton.
Easton.
That's Eaton. Number 21, Jake the freshman. Number 22, Aaron Boynton, the senior, at the center position. The guard, point guard, Chris Mayhew, number 23, a senior, and also number 24, Aaron Bailey, a senior. That's your starting lineup. And we'll get the lineup now for the Railroaders from Whitehall. Number 14, Paul Terry. They got him at, I guess his nickname is Zeke.
I got some good music here, Mark.
34, Jesse St. John. Justin Brown. Stevens is in there. That's number 50.
I believe they would have turned the lights out, Mark, but it takes so long to turn them back on.
Okay, 30. Justin Foster. What do you have, number 40 in there, Brian? I missed a number on the opening introductions here. We'll pick it up momentarily. So the Raiders at 9-6, and we're not sure what the Railroaders record is, but we're ready to go at it here. The Raiders and the Railroaders here at Whitehall tonight. And it's been a while. I had been in this gym before, but it was a long time ago, back in the late 60s, early 70s there. And good crowd on hand for tonight's ballgame. Ready to tip it off, and it's the Raiders controlling. Aaron Bailey gets it to Chris Mayhew. Mayhew, the point guard. The Raiders setting up now. It goes to Jake Eaton. Eaton looking inside, goes to Boynton, back outside. Wanted to go back to Conway. It's stolen away. Terry, and it goes off the rim. Rebound control by Conway. The Raiders control back to Boynton and loses the handle momentarily.
Double
boy. So we had to wait for that call. It took a little while, but now they got Boynton for steps, and the Railroaders will bring it back up. This is Terry outside, the point guard for Whitehall. There's the other number. Number 20, Justin Monell, is in there. I missed him on the opening.
And you said it was number 40.
Number 40. I knew it was a 0 on there.
Oh, okay.
I just doubled it. That's
all right.
7:21 first quarter action here from Whitehall Central School, and it's the Raiders and the Railroaders. This is Terry out in front, looking for help. Goes to Monell. Wanted to go to Monell. Goes out of bounds. It's going to be a Raider ball, and Aaron Bailey will inbound it for the Raiders. He goes to Chris Mayhew. Bailey, Mayhew, Conway, Boynton, and Eaton is the lineup for the Raiders. 7:03 left, first quarter action here. They go to Eaton, over to Mayhew with the jumper. Oh, it's going to be a Raider. Okay.
Nope.
It's going to be a Railroader ball. 6:55 left in the opening quarter. The Raiders and the Railroaders tonight. Terry bringing it up for Whitehall. And that one, both teams a little tight. Of course, the Mounties and the Raiders went at it last night there, and so the Raiders coming off that game. First time they've played back-to-back games here this season. In the middle, Boynton with the jumper, partially blocked. Bailey runs it down for the Raiders, gets it over to Mayhew.
Looked like it hit him
in the lane, dishes it to Eaton, off the glass, doesn't go. And the rebound, they're going to get him for steps.
Ooh.
Jesse St. John dragged the pivot foot, so they're going to give it back to the Raiders here with 6:27. And the local crowd didn't like it that well. They'll go to Eaton, they go outside to Conway. Three-point lands, got it. Jake Conway puts the Raiders on the board.
That opens the ball game up.
Yeah, that'll do it up. 3-0.
Officially started now, Mark.
All right, the Raiders up 3-zip here with 6:10 left, first quarter action. Underneath. And wow, I thought he was walking on that one. Jesse St. John puts it up for Whitehall. Mayhew to Conway in the lane. And it doesn't go. Rebound is going to go out of bounds off the Raiders. It'll be a Whitehall ball. Greg Stevens will inbound it. He goes to Paul Terry. Terry working against Conway. Over to Stevens. Stevens looking for help. Back to Terry outside. Doesn't go. Rebound is going to be a Raiders ball. It goes out of bounds. 5:32 left, first quarter. 3-2, the Raiders on top here. Ball game coming to you from Whitehall, New York tonight. Mayhew goes to Eaton outside. Goes into Boynton. Boynton back. I wanted to go back to Conway. Stolen away by Terry. It's Terry against Eaton down the other way. Behind the back.
Nice move.
Nice move by Terry, and it's 4-3 Whitehall. 5:08 left, first quarter action. Jake Eaton outside, goes to Conway. Goes into Boynton, turn around, and Boynton got the bounce. Aaron Boynton with the bucket, 5-4. Raiders back on top. 4:48 left in the first quarter. Terry. And outside, the shot doesn't go. Rebound is controlled by the Raiders, Boynton.
John Lynn's feet was over the line.
His feet were
tall kid.
So John tucked his feet back in and we're ready to go. Shot attempt there by Whitehall was Justin Manel. The Raiders, Boynton came down the rebound, and John had his feet sticking out there a little too much. Mayhew now. Back to Eaton from three-point land, and that one off the back of the iron, and it's controlled by Whitehall. Stolen away, Conway with the bounce pass to Eaton, the turnaround, and didn't get it. Rebound is controlled by, oh, they're going to get the Raiders for steps.
Eaton and Bailey both had their hands on the ball when they came down with it.
So they had it on there at the same time, and the ball go back over to Whitehall now. Somewhat of a sluggish start here in the first quarter. 4:08, 5-4, Raiders up. Foster, and they wanted to go inside. The pass went to Stevens. He wanted to go inside. The Raiders get the ball back. John Lynn in the ball game now. Goes to Conway from three-point land. That one's off the rim, and it's rebounded by Whitehall. Terry will bring it up. John Lynn in there with Mayhew, Conway, Eaton, and Bailey. And we're going to get Jake Eaton for the personal out in front here. So Eaton picks up the personal. 3:38 left, first quarter. 5-4, Raiders up, and it'll be a Whitehall ball out of bounds.
And it's 3:38 on both clocks, too.
Oh, they're matching now,
yes.
All right. There was a little discrepancy during that JV game. They were a second off. That could prove interesting, Brian, in a varsity game where it'd be a little closer.
Down the stretch.
Yep. And a shot in the lane is up and in. Justin Manel with the bucket, 6-5. Whitehall goes back on top. Back come the Raiders now. Mayhew goes to Conway. Down low they go to Bailey. Bailey looks across over to Mayhew. And he wanted to go back into the middle. It's stolen away. It's going to be a Whitehall ball out of bounds with 3:02 left.
Had a little block from Tom Nichols there. He was right in the camera range here. And didn't catch all of it, Mark.
Tom does tend to stand above the clouds there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
2:54 left. First quarter action. Whitehall on top over the Raiders, 6-5. Knocked away by Bailey, controlled by Whitehall. Back to Terry now. Down low, Foster, and that one doesn't go. Rebound, we got a foul underneath. This one's going to go against Aaron Bailey. So Aaron will pick up his first personal of the ball game. 2:42 left, first quarter. Dave Paller checks in for the Raiders.
For Aaron Bailey.
And Aaron Bailey will take a seat.
Also known as Charlie.
Charlie?
Yep.
Charlie Bailey?
No, Charlie Paller.
Oh, okay, Charlie Paller.
Oh, offensive.
And that's got to go to get him for traveling. So the Raiders will take over. Let's set the Raider lineup. Paller, Mayhew, Conway, Lynn, and Eaton in there for Rutland. Over to Eaton now. Eaton looks in the middle there with Lynn. Down low to Paller. Dave puts it up one time, and it's controlled by Terry of Whitehall. It gets to the head. Knocked away by Eaton. It's controlled by Jake. Brings it back for the Raiders. And he loses the handle to Terry. Gets to the head to Monell, and Monell puts it up and in. 8-5, Whitehall with a 3-point lead. 2:05 left, first quarter. Back comes Mayhew now. Goes to Conway. Over to Lynn, back out to Eaton. Back to Conway. Jake. Back to Mayhew. Mayhew looks back to Conway. 3-point land, and it doesn't go. Rebound Eaton. He puts it off the glass. That one doesn't go. Underneath. Conway, and Paller puts it up.
They're not calling nothing under there.
Oh, man, he was assaulted underneath the basket. Nothing called down at that end. Knocked out of bounds. And Whitehall will regain possession here with 1:30.
This official looks like he's game warden, too. He's got a patch on his shoulder.
Game warden.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fishing for shots.
Well, it's open season for Raiders tonight. 1:30 left in the first quarter. It's 8-5, and Whitehall is on the top here. They got their 3-point lead. Probably not the prettiest quarter of basketball thus far, Brian. There's a shot from outside, and it's good. That's number 44 into the ball game, Mike Watson. And Watson gets the bucket for Whitehall. 1:13 left first quarter, and the Railroaders go up 10-5 over the Raiders. Joey Duval is in there now for Rutland. Over to Conway, over to Mayhew in the corner. Loses the handle, controlled by Paller.
3 seconds on
and now they call 3 seconds. So it'll be a Whitehall ball. Number 32 into the ball game, Eric Kelly for Whitehall. Terry, baseball pass, a length of the court.
Travel.
And the jumper, it's a good thing. Because the basket was good, they're not going to allow it. He was traveling, but this kid was wide open.
So what do we got here? We got a 3-pointer and a bucket. That's all we've got
and
here.
And that's it. 50 seconds left, first quarter. Mayhew goes to Conway. Along the baseline. Conway puts it up. And let's see. It's going to stay right down at that end.
Oh, I see what's happening. They got saran wrap around that rim up here, Mark.
That's what it is. So they got to take that off. All right, so Mayhew will inbound it for the Raiders. Goes to Conway. Conway wanted to go to Duval. Finally gets there. And Duval to Mayhew, over to Lynn. Back to Joey Duval. And unfortunately, it was tipped just before it got to him, and it tipped off to Joe's hands. And it'll be a Whitehall ball. The Railroaders with a 10-5 lead with 30 seconds left here in the first quarter. Terry's going to take his time. I'm sure they're going to hold for one shot here. In the first quarter, there's Watson. Back out to Terry now. Terry's going to hold, I bet. Oh, stolen away by Conway. And he's going to drive the length and lay it up and in. Pretty play by Conway. Good defensive work. There's the last shot, and that doesn't go. So after 1 quarter of play, it's Whitehall 10 and the Rutland High Red Raiders 7. You know what they do? We're back here at Whitehall, New York, Brian. They keep the gym up. They keep the heat up. So maybe that's a good defensive move right there. Because it is warm in this place, I'll tell you.
That it is.
All right, Whitehall with the ball, 10-7. They get the 3-point lead here, and just into the second quarter. Foster. That's Monell. He goes to Terry. Terry's going to put it up. That one knocked out of bounds, and they're going to say it was knocked out of bounds by the Raiders, so it'll be a Whitehall ball.
Chris is pleading his case.
Yeah. To no avail, though. 7:33 left. Terry's going to take the jumper, and it's up and in. Paul Terry with the basket. Whitehall, 12-7. They got the 5-point lead. We got a whistle.
Number 50.
All right, this personal is going to go against Greg Stevens. Well, that's the first foul. First foul of the quarter. The Raiders have 2. Mayhew inbounds at the Eaton. Eaton now goes back to Mayhew. Back to Eaton in the lane. Knocked away by Terry. And Terry scrambled for it. Conway goes back to Paller. And Paller's going to get it to Mayhew now. 7:07 left, second quarter. The Raiders down by 5. Mayhew in the lane to Boynton, and it's good. Basket's good, and we got a foul underneath.
Found Charlie.
It's going to be on Paller, but the basket will count. So Paller picks up the personal. Is that on Charlie?
Yep.
All right, Terry brings it up for Whitehall. Guarded by Conway of the Raiders. 12-9, 3-point Whitehall lead, and it's been a straight knocked away there by Mayhew. Terry driving in, puts it up and in. Terry with the bucket, 14-9. The Raiders down by 5. And Rutland now back. Mayhew gets it across to Conway, lights it up. Didn't go. Rebound controlled by Whitehall. Down the other end, knocked away by Mayhew. Good defensive move by Chris Mayhew for the Raiders, and he gets it across to Eaton. And the Paller drive. Nothing called there. Off the glass and in. Conway. 14-11. Back comes Whitehall now. This is Terry. 5:57 left. Second quarter action. Stevens knocked away. Boynton picks it up for the Raiders. Mayhew, 5:46 left, second quarter now. Chris Mayhew from outside, off the glass, doesn't go. Rebound, tipped around there by Boynton. It's picked up. Terry, the Railroaders, back the other way, and that one's no good. Underneath, Boynton with the rebound for the Raiders. Jesse St. John had a shot underneath, and that didn't go. Boynton got the rebound, and the Raiders are back in action here. 14-11, the jumper by Boynton doesn't go. Rebounded, controlled by St. John, and Whitehall coach wants them to settle down here a little bit with 5:13 left. I tend to think if you get this team into a running game, Brian, you might have a little bit of an advantage. They like to be very deliberate.
Keep the tempo down.
Yeah, they want to keep that tempo down. They got a foul on Paller, and the only trouble is you got to call it both ways. It's all you're looking for is consistency, that's for sure. 5 minutes left, second quarter, 14-11.
Duval and Bailey in.
All right, so Duval and
Conway taking
Bailey and Jake Conway taking a seat out there along with Dave Paller. Terry now with the ball, 4:54 left. Underneath they go. St. John with the turnaround, it's good. Jesse St. John for Whitehall. It's 16-11. Whitehall on top. Back come the Raiders. Boynton. Back to Mayhew. Trying to penetrate that middle there. And back to Boynton. And that one goes.
Down by 3.
Boynton with the bucket. 16-13. Whitehall. Back come the Railroaders. This is Terry working against Duval outside. All the way through, doesn't go. Rebound, and he's fouled. Basket's going to count. So Terry gets the bucket.
Aaron Bailey with the foul.
Bailey will pick up the personal, and that's going to be Aaron Bailey's first. And going to the charity stripe is going to be, they got Bailey for 2. Thank you, Mrs. Mayhew. So Paul Terry, and the shot is up and in. 19-13. Whitehall on top. Back the other way now. The Raiders, Mayhew goes in the middle of Boynton. Back to Bailey underneath. Lost the handle. He got fouled underneath there.
32.
32 on the personal. So Eric Kelly picking up the fall there for the Railroaders. 19-13, 4:04 left in the second quarter here from Whitehall Central School. And at the charity stripe will be Aaron Bailey for the Raiders. Bailey have another one coming here. The Raiders with 5 team fouls, the Railroaders with 2. Bailey gets 1 of 2.
Conway back in. Mayhew take a break.
And 4:04 left, 19-14 in the second quarter. That's your score with Whitehall on top. You set that Raider lineup. It's Duval, Conway, Eaton, Bailey, and Boynton in for the Raiders. Kelly there looked like he wanted to hold it for a while and then run some clock. St. John gets it back to Kelly.
One thing about the gym, we're right on top of the action here.
Yeah, really. This is Terry now. And they're going to watch him closely. Knocked away by Conway, and we got a fall. All right, we had a fall on Kelly before Jake could get loose there. .329 left, second quarter, and Kelly's going to take a seat. Picked up his second personal, so the Raiders now with .328 left, a little bit of work to do, down by 5. Conway with the ball. Goes to Boynton and wanted to go to Bailey, knocked around. Conway retrieves, lets it fly. And they're going to let that one go. It's going to be a Whitehall ball. 3:15 left, second quarter, and it's 19-14. The Railroaders on top. Timeout on the court. And we'll be back.
Here we are.
All right, back at Whitehall Central School. 19-14, the Raiders down by 5 with 3:09 left in the second quarter. Mark Carboneau along with Brian Mayhew tonight here on Channel 15. Non-league game for the Raiders. This is Terry now working against Duval out there. To Watson, they go to Foster. Or Stevens had the ball. Now they go to Foster. Looking, and they go back to Terry. Terry, the general out there for the Whitehall Railroaders. Eaton with the steal, and he gets the bucket. Nice defensive play by Jake Eaton. And it's 2 points for the Raiders. 19-16 now, and back come the Railroaders. Watson gets it to Terry. Duval hounding him out in front there. Almost stolen away. There's the jumper, and it doesn't go. Rebound, Boynton pulls it down. 2:09 left, second quarter. Terry picks it off. And let's see. We're going to get Jake Eaton for Jake Conway for this one.
You're trying to bulldog him. Just picking up from a little bit of last night's humor in the JV game, that's all.
Just a little bit, yeah. All right, back we go. Railroaders now with the ball. Terry bringing it up. 2 minutes left, second quarter. Jumper by Terry doesn't go, and it's rebounded by Boynton. Boynton doing the job off the glass. 1:53 left. Back come the Raiders. Conway. One to go. Boy, I tell you, that's how Eaton gets it back. Conway puts it up, and we got a foul underneath.
On a big guy.
34?
No, yep. Yep. The big guy.
Okay, that's Jesse St. John picking up the personal. 1:43 left, second quarter. Raiders down by 3, and going to the foul line for the Raiders will be Jake Conway. Raiders with 6 team fouls and Whitehall with 4. And Jake's going to get another here. 1:43 left. Well, I tell you, that's got to have saran wrap, like you said earlier, Brian.
Yep.
Boy, they went in and out, both of them. So the Railroaders back at it here with 1:35 left. Terry all the way down, and it goes out of bounds to be a Raider ball. Terry asking the official, but not going to help him. 1:28 left, second quarter. Eaton now over to Duval. Duval over to Boynton. Duval wanted to take the 3, steps it in, and takes the 2. That doesn't go. Rebounded by Terry. Throws it ahead. And doesn't go. Rebound is going to be knocked out of bounds. Stevens had the shot underneath the basket, and it wouldn't go. 1:13 left. And the Railroaders will inbound it. Gets it out. Bailey had a hand on it. And let's see who's got it. Raider ball. So Rutland will inbound it. Bailey, Eaton, Conway, Mayhew's back in for Duval, and Aaron Boynton in there now. That's your Raider lineup with 1:11 left here in the second quarter from Whitehall. I'll tell you, they're packing that defensive in there real tight there, Brian. Play that zone. The Raiders now, Mayhew. Over to Bailey. Bailey. And he loses the handle. He ties him up, and it's going to be a Whitehall ball. Got a few words there exchanged out on the court between Bailey and number 50 out there. That's Greg Stevens for Whitehall. So Bailey and Stevens going at it, and there'll be a Whitehall ball here with 50 seconds left. Terry bringing it up for Whitehall. Goes underneath, they dish it, and it's up off the glass and in. Watson with the bucket. Mike Watson with the bucket, and 38 seconds left, second quarter. 21-16, Whitehall on top here. Back come the Raiders now. Mayhew over to Conway. Conway looking across to Mayhew. He wanted to go to Eaton, and it's stolen away by Terry, and he's ahead of the pack and off the glass. Back come the Raiders now. Mayhew to Eaton, over to Conway. Conway driving in up. Well, I tell you, they're just not falling here for the Raiders. 7 seconds. Conway knocks it away. Terry brings it up. 3 seconds left in the quarter. The shot goes, and at the end of one half of play, it's Whitehall 23 and the Rutland High Red Raiders 16. Back at Whitehall Central School, ready for the second half to start here. 23-16, the Railroaders on top of the Rutland High Red Raiders. Brian, I think we're going to see some different things from the Raiders in this second half here. That first half there were a little bit of trouble defensively with the Railroaders here, and I'm sure they'll step it up in the second half. Raiders come out now, Eaton. They go down low to Boynton. Looking for help here, and he takes the jumper himself, doesn't go, and it's rebounded, and it goes to Terry. Stevens with the rebound, and they quickly got it to Terry. One thing I noticed, when they get in trouble there, the Whitehall Railroaders, they look for Paul Terry here, the point guard, and he pretty much runs the show here. They go inside, and that's a push.
Well, called that on Bailey.
They called it on Bailey. Boy, that, to me, I don't know. It could have gone either way, Brian.
Yep.
Jesse St. John is driving in, and they called it on Aaron Bailey. So Bailey will pick up his third personal. Checking in the ball game for the Raiders will be John Lynn. So Lynn replaces Bailey here with 7:22 to go in the third quarter. And it'll be a Whitehall ball out to Terry. Shot goes up, it's rebounded inside there, it doesn't go. Turn around, and that one falls. Justin Foster with the bucket to open the scoring here in the second half. 25-16, back come the Raiders. Mayhew to Eaton now. Eaton goes to Conway. Conway going through, knifing through the defense there. And I think that's what the Raiders have got to do. They got to open it up in the inside there and attack.
That's on the big guy, 34.
All right, so St. John with the personal. That's 2 on him. And the Raiders need to get inside the paint here in that second half. 6:55. Conway goes to the charity stripe. Got the little bounce off the front of the rim, and that one goes. And 1 of 2 for Conway. Knocked around down there. Terry controls. Still keeps dribbling. And he gets by Conway, and he throws it out of bounds. And I tend to think if you put a little pressure on this ball club here from Whitehall, they may start to turn the ball over. Good defensive pressure by Conway. So the Raiders take over now with 6:41 left in the third quarter. 25-17. Whitehall on top. They go to Boynton in the middle. That's knocked away. Stevens picks it up and gets it to Terry. Over to Stevens, back to, this is the big man in the middle there. That was St. John, and it's controlled by Eaton of the Raiders. Ahead to Mayhew. 6:14, Mayhew in the lane to Boynton, and it's up and in. 25-19, 6:04 left in the third quarter, and back come the Railroaders. Both teams with one foul apiece. St. John looking for help. Some pressure on him. Back to Terry. Terry in the lane. He's going to let it fly, and it's good. Paul Terry, 27-19, Whitehall. It's the first 2 points for Terry here in the second half. Conway to Eaton. Jake Eaton from outside. Doesn't go. And they're going to get Jake for a foul. So let's see. That's 2 on Jake Eaton. And the Railroaders will inbound it here. Stevens goes to Terry. Terry will bring it up. They'll slow it down here. Very deliberate. Pressured out there by Conway. He gets away. Terry's going to dump it down inside for St. John, and it's good. So they baited him outside. They dumped it down inside, and St. John got the bucket back for the Raiders. Conway along the baseline, throws it up. John Lynn with the rebound, and he's going to be fouled on the play.
On 14.
14 gets the personal. That's Paul Terry. That's his first. And John Lynn goes to the free throw line here with 5:03 left in the third quarter. All right. John gets the first one. All right, he gets them both. So John Lynn puts the Raiders now within 8, the Railroaders, and they'll bring it back. Paul Terry, 4:56, third quarter action here from Whitehall Central School tonight. Here on Channel 15. There's St. John working against Lynn. And it looked like he traveled out there. St. John with the turnaround, up and in, off the glass. Didn't catch him for steps the first time around. Conway down the other way now. It goes to Mayhew with the short jumper, and it's good in the lane. Well, Mayhew with the bucket, 31-23. 4:24 left in the third quarter. Terry now. What they do is they set it up. You can see they bring it up to a high post. Knocked away by Conway, and he tried to save it. Goes out of bounds. Very deceptive. They bring them up, and then all of a sudden somebody breaks back for the basket, and they hit you with it. That's their Whitehall offense, the way they set it up here. So Whitehall with the ball. 4:12 left, third quarter, 31-23, and the Railroaders on top. Terry now bringing it up against Conway. Goes into Stevens. Stevens back to Terry. Jumper is blocked by Boynton. He goes up again with it. And that time it's controlled by Boynton with the rebound. He gets it ahead to Mayhew. Ahead to Conway. Conway with the jumper and in and out. Well, I tell you, the Raiders. And we got a foul on Joe Duval. So Duval picking up his first personal. 31-23, 3:44 left in the third quarter. Raiders with 3 team fouls and the Railroaders with 2. This is Terry. And then the Foster lost the handle. Scramble for the ball down there, and the Raiders are going to call. Whitehall will have the ball out of bounds. Checking in for Whitehall is number 44. That's Mike Watson. And number 20, Justin Manel, takes a seat for Whitehall. So with 3:30 left, they go inside to St. John. That one doesn't go. Rebound. Duval had it. It was stripped away, and the Raiders get it back. Conway with the ball. Back to Mayhew. Back to Conway. They go inside. Paller looking outside to Mayhew. Back to Paller off the glass. Basket's good, and he's fouled. Pretty play by the Raiders out there. They went back to Paller underneath, and it's 31-25. The basket counts, and Dave Paller is going to check, going to step to the charity stripe here with a chance for a 3-point play. And Charlie gets the 3-point play. 31-26, checking in for Whitehall there, number 32, that's Kelly. Number 50 out, Greg Stevens. This is Terry bringing it up against Conway. Works it down low. They go in the middle in the lane to turn around. Boynton retrieves it. And back come the Raiders now. Mayhew to Conway. Conway takes it inside, back outside. Boynton, the jumper doesn't go off the front of the rim there. And it's controlled by St. John and Whitehall. They go to Terry with 2:45 left. Third quarter action, 31-26. And the Railroaders on top of the Red Raiders at this point. Lost the handle, and Duval had it for a second. Back and forth, and let's see, he's tied up. It should be a Raider ball. I think a couple of Railroaders collided there. Yeah. Okay, we're back on track here, and the Raiders have it now. There's Boynton. Looking for Duval. Duval now goes in the middle. Paller dumps it down to Boynton. And the jumper doesn't go. Duval keeps it alive. Gets it back outside to Conway. Good board work there by Duval. Conway gets the bucket. Jake Conway, 31-28. And 2:02 left. Third quarter. Back come the Raiders now. And Whitehall wants to talk things over. 31-28. That's your score. We'll be back. All right, back at Whitehall, 31-28, 1:58 left, third quarter. And it's the Railroaders here with the ball. Knocked away, and the Raiders retrieve. Duval gets it at the Mayhew. It's Duval, Mayhew, Conway, Boynton, and Paller in for the Raiders. Chris Mayhew now in the lane, dumps it to Conway. Pretty play. It's nice work offensively by the Raiders. 31-30, and the Raiders are back now. There's Whitehall throwing the ball around. A little pressure on him, and let's see, 44, this is Stevens. And he dumps it down for Watson, and Watson puts it through. 33-30. The Railroaders on top of the Red Raiders here. 1:16 left in the third quarter. Cross to Duval now. Joe steps it outside, back out to Mayhew. Chris looking inside. Conway. Jake drives the base, doesn't go. Paller with the rebound, up and in.
That's 2 for Charlie.
Charlie hits it again, and that one goes out of bounds. I'll tell you, a little bit of pressure goes a long way out here, Brian.
Yep.
Well, we said at halftime, we thought if they put a little pressure on the this Whitehall club here at in the second half of action, it might turn things around for the Raiders. Rather a sluggish first half. 33-32, Rutland's back here. Goes into Paller, and he gets it. There you go. Back out to Duval to Mayhew. Back to Paller. And that one doesn't go. It's rebounded by Whitehall. This is Terry now bringing it up for the Railroaders. 33-32, 26 seconds left In the third quarter of play here from Whitehall. They're going to bring it outside now and hold it for 1. Goes to Stevens. Stevens over to Watson from way outside. It's Watson retrieves it. Blocked by Boynton. Controlled by Mayhew. Ahead to Conway, and he's wide open. Off the glass, and he's in. And we got a chance for a three-point play here. Heads-up play by Mayhew. We saw Conway was open, and it paid off.
That's the first lead since the early first period.
I was going to say early going, so the Raiders are back. 34-33. They're on top now. And Conway with a chance to make it a three-point play. Well, there you go. 35-33. 4 ticks left on the clock. Terry with the ball. He lets it fly. And that's going to do it. After 3 quarters of play, the Raiders are back. 35, Whitehall 33. You got to do something, right? All right, ready to... I think, yeah, I assume we're on. There we go.
Yeah, we're back. We're back.
All right, we got a discussion at the scorer's table.
Okay,
yep.
I'll do that.
Okay, you do that, and I'll...
How many people do you think we've got here tonight, Mark?
Well, I don't know. Capacity is 925. So I'm figuring there's got to be... It's a good crowd, 700-800 people.
A little shy over there. Oh, we're ready to play basketball.
Whitehall will inbound it here. 35-33, fourth quarter action underway here from Whitehall Central School. It's the Raiders and the Railroaders. Raiders on top. Terry blocked here by Paller. And good defensive work by Paller in there for the Raiders. There's Terry. He's going to let it up. And that one there falls short. The Raiders rebound, and it's Mayhew bringing it up for Rutland now. They go to Boynton. Look out. Ooh. And they're going to get a foul outside. What do you go, 41 or 14? 14. That's 2 on Paul Terry.
Over there.
That's his second personal, so Aaron Boynton. Oh, that's 3.
Well,
yeah, the official scorer here has got him for 3.
And he saw Aaron coming down his track there, and he just kind of...
Oh, 1-3. All right, Boynton with the bucket. And a chance. Got another one coming here. Mrs. Mayhew, the statistician here. Boynton with a chance, and he gets them both. Aaron Boynton puts the Raiders up 37-33 with 7:36. Duval with the play. And he knocks it out of bounds. It's going to be a Whitehall ball. 7:35 left, 37-33. The Raiders on top. And checking in for Whitehall is number 20, Justin Monell. And checking out Michael Watson. There they go. There's the touchdown pass, and it's retrieved. No, he's on the line. Beautiful. And they put the pressure on him. They got to watch. You got to watch for the home run ball there, Brian. Very similar to the play by Mayhew to Conway back in the third quarter, which led to a Raiders score. All right, Raiders are back. Conway now goes to Mayhew. We've got Conway, Mayhew, Duval, Boynton, and Paller in for the Raiders. Duval working it outside, across to Conway, got to him. And off the glass, didn't go. Paller, and let's see, they're going to get Dave for a foul underneath. Well, let's see, that's going to be...
Charlie. That's his third.
Okay. That's 3 on Paller. I had him for 2. All right. He's got 3. Back comes the Whitehall Railroaders. Knocked out of bounds by Conway. I tell you, it's not much scoring in the ballgame. A lot of defense here, and there's the play again. They let him go long. Terry's going to have to run it down. He can't get to it.
Wasn't touched, so it'll come all the way back.
It's going to go all the way back there because it was exactly right.
And I got one right tonight. I'm doing good, Mark. I got one so far.
There you go. All right, Jake Eaton will check back in for Joe Duval. And Duval, good work out there by Duval. He's going to take a seat. And the Raiders now go with Jake Eaton out there. Conway, three-point land, and it doesn't go. Rebound controlled by Mayhew. Bounces it off St. John's knee. And the Raiders will regain control down there. Raiders up by 4, 37-33 with 7:01 left in the fourth quarter. Boynton is going to take it inside to the hoop. Doesn't go. Rebound controlled by Whitehall. Stevens will bring it up. Goes to Terry now. Terry behind the back. Puts up a wild shot. Doesn't go. Rebound controlled by Boynton of the Raiders. Back to Mayhew now. Mayhew in the lane. Off the glass and in.
Coach missed that one. He was tying his shoe.
39-33. He's got to get those better laces, those Velcro laces.
There you go.
Blocked by Boynton with a play. Conway and the Raiders want to run. In the lane, he's fouled. Beller looks at him and says, "What?" He says, "Wow."
That's 4 on whoever that was. I think it was 14. He's over there.
Get the number of that freight train that went through there. That's going to be 4 on... well, they don't have the number up there. I don't know if you caught the number. Well, Paller's going to take a seat. Going to the free throw line is Jake Conway. All right, off the front of the rim. I still don't have a number. All right.
Put it on 14, Mark.
Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
How many has he got?
He's got 4 if it goes on him. Conway missing both. Back the other way.
Was there anybody else that had 3 that would have got 4?
No.
Oh, that's him.
Okay, there's Terry. And knocked away Bailey now. Goes to Mayhew. 6:11 left here. Fourth quarter, 39-33. The Raiders on top. Mayhew dishes to Bailey. Bailey with the shot. And it doesn't go. Rebound controlled by St. John of the Whitehall Railroaders. With 5:59 left. And we got a timeout. So that's your score. It's the Raiders 39 and the Railroaders 33. We'll be back.
Hey, Mark.
Yes, Brian, we're back. 39-33, the Raiders on top with 5:56.
What was the JV score, Mark? Do you remember?
Oh, God, I can't remember. The Raider JVs did win by, I believe the final was 30-point spread there. And long pass. It's going to be a Raider ball. There you go. Good call out there by the officiating crew.
Jake Eaton got a hand on it. Then the Whitehall kid tipped it out of bounds.
All right, here's your Raider lineup. We got Mayhew, Conway, Boynton, Bailey, and Eaton in there for the Raiders. 39-33. Over to Eaton now. Back to Bailey. Bailey works it back outside to Mayhew. He had some thoughts about the three-pointer. Back to Conway. Jake Eaton steps it inside. Jumper and knocked around. Conway.
Stays here.
Called a jump ball. It'll stay right down there. Conway with the yeoman's work underneath there for the Raiders. And Rutland will inbound it here. 5:20 left. Fourth quarter action. Outside to Eaton. Over to Mayhew. Outside. Doesn't go. Rebound controlled by Whitehall.
Too hot in here.
Justin Monell. That's got to be it. Terry's going to bring it up. 39-33. 5:07 left now. Fourth quarter here from Whitehall Central School. Foster, and let's see.
Get his bags packed that time, Mark.
Oh, he was leaving on a jet plane in a hurry there.
No, he's on a caboose.
All right. Well, somebody better alert the conductor on that one. All right, the Raiders now back with the ball. Bailey in the lane, up off the glass, didn't go, but he's fouled in there.
34.
And the hometown crowd didn't like it. St. John, that's got to be... Let's see how many they flash up there. I know he had at least 3.
4.
He's got 4 now. Well, we got St. John and Terry for 4 personal fouls. Bailey stepping to the charity stripe here. And Aaron's got the first one. Well, you know, Brian, I coached Mr. Bailey back in 5th and 6th grade, so I guess he learned something from me.
Well, I coached Mr. Eaton, so...
Well, there you go. All right, he sinks them both. One thing I can tell you, we used to shoot a lot of free throws.
Yeah. Travel.
Back come the Railroaders, and a shot inside knocked around. St. John with the bucket. 4:41 left, 41-35. The Raiders on top. Over to Boynton, back to Conway. Conway in traffic, puts it up and doesn't go. Gets his own rebound. Conway, third time, and this, oh, he had 3 shots at it. St. John rebounds for the Railroaders. Back to Terry now. 4:16 left. Fourth quarter action from Whitehall. Boy, look at it. Well, they're going to give it to Bailey, but I'll tell you, St. John was doing some pushing in there, too. I don't know. To me, it could have gone either way. All right, 4:10 left, 41-35. The Raiders on top. And let's see, Whitehall with 17 fouls. The Raiders with 6. Was inside, knocked around. And Jake Eaton had it.
Jump ball. Stays there.
It's going to stay down at that end. So Whitehall will retain possession. Back now, Terry outside.
Get out on him, Jake. Pressure now. Come on.
Raiders 41-35 over the Railroad. Stolen away by Bailey. Gets it ahead to Mayhew now. Back to Bailey. Look over to Conway. And Jake's going to set it up. Well, I'll tell you, that rim is tight. Oh, he had number 20 all over his back down there. Oh, I'll tell you, I don't blame Mr. Bailey for being a little upset there. He had number 20. I'll tell you, he was all over him like a cheap suit down there. 41-35, the Raiders up.
Fowler comes in for...
Yeah, right. Fowler's in, they throw the ball away. It'll be a Raiders ball. 41-35, Raiders on top with 3:47 left. Jake Eaton will inbound. We got here Eaton, Paller, Mayhew, Boynton, and Conway in for the Raiders. All right, they go down low to Eaton now. Jake steps it back outside to Mayhew. Mayhew back out to Eaton. Going to run some clock here. 3:30 left, fourth quarter. Paller back out to Mayhew. Mayhew drives, gets it to Paller, and they're going to get Dave for steps. So it'll be a Whitehall ball here with 3:25 left. Fourth quarter action, 41-35. The Raiders on top. This is Terry now, the point guard for the Railroaders, bringing it up. Oh, and he traveled that time. Well, that time he got caught.
Yeah, he wrapped that one right around his waist.
All right. Back come the Raiders now, 41-35. 3:13 left in the fourth quarter. Eaton to Mayhew. Back to Eaton. Over to Mayhew. Mayhew brings it back over to Eaton. Eaton. Back to Conway. 2:57 left. Back to Eaton in the lane. Over to Conway. Jake steps it back. Now takes it in the lane. Doesn't go. Rebound is controlled by... Knocked around. Eaton had it. And Terry brings it back. St. John underneath, and it's good.
St. John took it right to the bucket.
Jesse St. John with the bucket, 41-37, and it's starting to get close again. 2:34 left in the fourth quarter. Eaton down to Paller. Paller goes to Conway. They go to Mayhew now. Mayhew puts it up, doesn't go. Rebound is controlled by Whitehall, and they get it ahead to Terry now. Stevens got the rebound on that. They go inside. This is Foster outside to St. John. Doesn't go. Rebound. Controlled by Eaton. Eaton and Conway. We got a 2 against 3, and we're going to hold it up. So Conway calls, Eaton calls timeout. That's your score. It's the Rutland High Red Raiders 41, and the Railroaders from Whitehall 47. 37. All right, back in Whitehall, 2:04 left in the fourth quarter. The Raiders up 41-37. Mayhew now with the ball. We got Mayhew, Eaton, Conway, Boynton, and Paller in for the Raiders. Chris Mayhew now with the ball. Goes inside to Boynton. They got Paller. And I thought Dave was going to take it inside. They go back outside. Eaton. They're going to run some clock here. Running some clock. Conway now. Over to Mayhew. The local fans don't like it, but that's part of the game. And they finally foul him. Mayhew is fouled by number 20 out there. That's Justin Monell. So Monell picks up the personal.
Hot in here, the camera won't even focus.
I was going to say that your lens is probably steaming up. 1:29 left in the fourth quarter. Chris Mayhew at the charity stripe for the Raiders. Hit the back of the iron. Rebound is controlled by Mayhew called timeout. Paller jumped on the loose ball, and they called timeout. So with 1:26 left, we're going to take a timeout.
No, we're going to stay here.
All right, we'll stay here.
Cheerleaders. These are the
All right, so we got
cheerleaders.
The Whitehall cheerleaders.
Now we'll go.
All right, we back?
We're back.
All right, we're back in Whitehall. 1:26 left, fourth quarter action.
They never left Whitehall, Mark.
No, well, that's true.
Okay.
All right, Conway. And he's fouled out there by number 12.
He wanted that. Come and get me. Let me go to the line.
And that's Clayton Smith there with the personal. Well, he had the waste one, so they wasted a foul, and they brought, what's his name, Paul Terry back in. The point guard for Whitehall. The Jake Conway makes it 42-37. I'd watch out for the home run ball. And what they'll try to do here when they inbound, they'll probably try to go, they'll go along with that pass to try to get an easy bucket against the Raiders, but Coach Kinsman has got Paller and Boynton back, so Conway gets 1 of 2. And it's 42-37, 1:13 left. Way outside, and that one doesn't go. Rebound controlled by Boynton of the Raiders, and they're going to get St. John with the personal.
That should be 5, isn't it?
Kind of looked like the shot I used to shoot there, Brian. The old two-handed set shot.
That's 5 for him.
So that's 5 on St. John.
44 just came in, Mark.
We waited for the afterburners to die down on that one there. That was a shot, though, I'll tell you. So Terry's out. And let's see, 12 is back in. That's going to be number 12 is Clayton Smith for the Railroaders. And at the charity stripe is Aaron Boynton for the Raiders. 42-37, Rutland on top, and Boynton sinks the first one. All right, so now he's coming back in here. Paul Terry's going to come back in. Jesse St. John was the one that fouled out. And checking out for Whitehall is Justin Monell, number 20. So Boynton.
Something's going on here.
Well, I didn't.
Won't let him come back in? How come?
Well, I think the reason being because you've got a player at the foul line. You can't take, no time ran off the clock, so you can't really let Terry back in the ball game. You have to have some time run off the clock before he can come back in. Play had stopped, so there was no time for him to come back in here. Boynton's going to get the second shot here at the charity stripe, and that one goes in and out. So Boynton gets 1 of 2. 1:03 left, and Whitehall calls timeout. We'll take a break here. The Raiders 43 and Whitehall 37.
Did it right this time, Mark.
Thank you.
Back in. Here we are.
Back at Whitehall, 1:02 left. Smith drives in for Whitehall, and it's retrieved by the Raiders. Mayhew had it, and Smith fouled him. We're down to 52 seconds left in the ball game, well, in the fourth quarter.
Thank you, Mark.
I stand corrected. You got to remember that. We've had some overtime action this year. The Raiders will be back in action on Tuesday night. It's a home game against the Springfield Cosmos.
How would Jack say that? In regulation. There we go.
In regulation, yeah, there we go. Okay, 52 seconds left in regulation. Now we're official. And Chris Mayhew at the charity stripe. And Chris will get another one. All right, Mayhew gets 1 of 2. And we're down to 50 seconds now. Whitehall coming back. 44-37. The Raiders on top. Smith is going to let it go from outside. That doesn't go. Rebound, and it's up and in there by Mike Watson, Whitehall. 44-39. Duval goes to Paller. Back to Mayhew. They've got Conway wide open. Boynton's going to take it up in and off the glass.
Nice look, nice look.
Well, they had Conway and Boynton wide open down the other end. 46-39. Back comes the Railroaders. And knocked around down there, controlled by Mayhew, and they quickly foul him. I think this one going against Mike Watson there for Whitehall.
44.
44, foul on Mike Watson. Raiders with 6 team fouls and Whitehall with 10. So they should be in the bonus. It's going to be a 1-1 down the rest of the way here. So checking, let's see.
This is the 2-shot foul.
This is the bonus. So they're going to be 2 shots the rest of the way. They're in the, after 10 shots, or 10 fouls, I should say. Mayhew with the second, and in and out. So Mayhew gets 1 of 2. It's rebounded by the Railroaders. This is Watson picking his way through the Raider defense. Lets it fly from out of beyond the 3-point land, and I think Smith picked up the personal?
Yeah.
1-2, number 12. It's Clayton Smith. 6 seconds left in the contest. I think I can say that now. 47-39. I guess it'll pass because you're not going to correct me on it. Okay.
No, that'll improve Rutland's record to 10-6.
Well, they'll go 10-6 overall. Dave Paller.
When's the next matchup, Mark?
Next matchup for the Rutland High Red Raiders will be Tuesday night. It's a home game at Keefe Gym against the Springfield Cosmos. And if everyone remembers right, it was a double overtime win down there. That'll do it for this one. The final score from Whitehall, New York, the Rutland High Red Raiders 49 and the Whitehall Railroaders 39. We'll see you back in action next week.
Tuesday night's the last home game.